As the sun sets on Karl-Fuhlrott-Gymnasium in Wuppertal, it's time for the students to begin their research. Thanks to the school's observatory and high-performance telescope, they can explore the endless universe from the roof of their own school. Celestial bodies can be observed with high precision using this 50-centimeter telescope. Final year students Christian and Leander use the telescope to study stars and luminous gas clouds, so-called gas emission nebulae, hundreds of light years away. They spend several hours a week in the observatory alongside regular classes. Where does this fascination come from?
For me, it's pretty much due to the school, because it's pretty much the only school in NRW that offers this kind of thing.
And it would simply not have been possible without the support of the Wilhelm and Else Heraeus Foundation. That's why the entire scope of the Jugendforscht and project area is largely down to the fact that we received funding from the foundation. For the foundation, this is an investment in, let's say, a future in which we still have young scientists in Germany.
The observatory in Wuppertal is just one example of how the Wilhelm and Else Heraeus Foundation fosters science education in schools. The foundation has supported STEM courses at Theodor Heuss Gymnasium in Waltrop for several years. Here, students develop and carry out their own projects. Like this fuel cell car, which the students designed and built themselves.
Okay, I'm turning it on.
And in this wind tunnel, Tamina, Julia and Frederike are investigating how a wing's shape affects air resistance. A relevant question in the construction of wind turbines, for example.
I think it's really great to have the opportunity to be offered something like this. And with the equipment, if we didn't have a wind tunnel, we wouldn't really have been able to carry out the project. And that's why we're really very happy that we were able to do it.
Teacher Dirk Schulz has witnessed time and again how students are able to grasp even complex theories because they have the chance to directly apply their knowledge in a practical and playful way.
We definitely have a lot of students with enormous potential, and we try to tease that out through this kind of teaching format. You just have to provide the learning environment so that they can try things out ultimately. It is potential that would otherwise not be realized.
However, promoting young talent in schools is only one of the Wilhelm and Else Heraeus Foundation's key goals. The oldest and most prominent program is the Wilhelm and Else Heraeus Seminars, where researchers from around the world have been exchanging ideas on current topics since 1975.
I think what is special is that they're sufficiently focused, but at the same time they're broad enough that they bring participations from people who come from the physics field, the chemistry, the biology, to really address a specific area. The size of the conference is also really large enough to have a diversity of ideas, opinions, and people, but small enough for everybody to interact with everybody else.
One subject is always central in all of the Foundation's events and activities.
The Wilhelm and Else Heraeus Foundation has a clear focus on physics. We further physics and everyone involved in physics, at schools and universities. That's why I believe we can make a difference with limited resources.
Bringing together established world-renowned researchers with young talents is a hallmark of the seminars, which mainly take place at the Physics Center in Bad Honnef.
I actually had my very first international conference here as a young doctoral student and gave my first talk in English here. And I always liked coming back. Even back then, it was a very focused topic, and you had the chance as a young person to talk to established scientists. That's very rare, and it's incredibly helpful for your later career.
Fostering research and education in the field of science, especially physics, was the goal of founding couple Wilhelm and Else Heraeus. Wilhelm Heinrich Heraeus was born on February 3rd, 1900. He was the grandson of the founder of WE-Heraeus GmbH, which grew out of the Einhorn Pharmacy in Hanau. Wilhelm Heraeus studied physics, mathematics and physical chemistry. He received his doctorate in Frankfurt on a topic in the field of metal physics in 1923. His doctoral supervisor was Walter Gerlach. Wilhelm Heinrich Heraeus joined the management team of the family business in 1927. Today, Heraeus is a highly diversified and world-leading technology group in the sectors of precious metals and recycling, medical technology, semiconductors and electronics, as well as industrial solutions. The Heraeus Group is one of the top 10 family-owned companies in Germany. And the more successful the conglomerate, the stronger the foundation, which was founded back in 1963.
Wilhelm und Else Heraeus waren ein kinderloses Ehepaar.
Wilhelm and Elsa Heraeus were a childless couple.
Weil seine Anteile
and because they had no children to pass their shares on to, they used them to set up a foundation. The foundation receives dividends from the shares deposited by Uncle Wilhelm and Aunt Elsa. That's who they were to me. And these shares generate a dividend from the group's earnings. And the dividend is practically the fund and basis for the foundation's activities.
Praktisch der Fundus ist die Basis für die Tätigkeit der Stiftung.
The organization of events, particularly seminars and physics schools, is central to these activities. Their most important site is Physics Center Bad Honnef. It's also the headquarters of the German Physical Society, or DPG. Walking along these corridors, you can feel the fascination that physics holds. The Foundation has worked closely with the DPG from the very beginning. The DPG awarded Wilhelm Heinrich Heraeus honorary membership for his services in 1984 and named a room in the Physics Center after him.
I don't know where the DPG would be without the Foundation. Now, for me personally, the two almost belong together. That's why I'm glad that I'm now the link between the German Physical Society and the Wilhelm and Else Heraeus Foundation. It's fun.
Given the significance of the Physics Center to the Foundation's activities, it has invested substantial sums in its infrastructure, particularly the lecture hall and the guest house.
This also shows our very strong commitment to this place. It is praised by everyone who comes here, both for the great infrastructure as well as the overall setting. It's a wonderful place to spend a few days discussing science.
And personal interaction not only furthers research, it also breaks down boundaries and fosters international understanding.
We have started a series of new activities. We want to become more international. I would like to bring young people from Germany together with young scientists from the global south, for example, but also from established countries such as the USA or Japan.
To this end, the Foundation increasingly organizes and funds events at European or non-European conference centers. The board invites the Scientific Advisory Council to assess funding applications twice a year. Experts from various disciplines discuss each individual funding application in detail.
We don't just look at the topic, but also at who is making the application. Is it a person who we know can ultimately deliver what they promise and be completely committed to it?
Alongside its own events, the Foundation also finances events by partner organizations. For example, the House of Astronomy in Heidelberg conducts annual training sessions for teachers. Here they have the opportunity to engage directly with researchers on current topics in astronomy through lectures and workshops.
When you leave university, you could say that you have accumulated a certain amount of knowledge. From that point, you start to forget things, so your knowledge shrinks. And if you don't go to events like this, you end up basing lessons on outdated things. The scientific experiences you make should also be brought back to school. Where do you find out about new findings in science? Certainly not in newspapers or Wikipedia. It's better to have first-hand experiences at events like the one here in Heidelberg.
So, in turn, students like those in Wuppertal or Waltrop also benefit. It's this combination of school education, scientific events and international exchange that makes the Wilhelm and Else Heraeus Foundation the most important private funding institution for physics in Germany.